The cool night air of Madrid carried the roar of 80,000 voices, a collective heartbeat vibrating through the concrete of the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. It was the final stop of an era, the absolute culmination of a journey that had spanned over a decade, and the atmosphere was heavy with a poignant mix of triumph and impending farewell. The stage lights flashed in brilliant hues of deep purple and gold, cutting through the ocean of shimmering army bombs that stretched out into the darkness like a fallen galaxy. On screen, the words of their closing statements were wrapping up, but on the main stage, the real story was unfolding in the quiet spaces between the lyrics of their final encore song. Jimin stood near the edge of the extended stage, his eyes scanning the crowd, trying to imprint every single face, every banner, and every tear-streaked smile into his memory. His shoulders, usually so buoyant and full of dancer's grace, seemed to carry the weight of the moment, sagging just a fraction under the immense emotional gravity of saying goodbye to this chapter. A few paces behind him, Jungkook was watching. The youngest, who had spent his entire youth growing up in the spotlight under the protective gazes of his youngs, looked remarkably grounded, yet his eyes held a glassiness that betrayed the storm of emotions inside. He watched Jimin raise a hand to wipe a stray tear from his cheek, a fleeting gesture that most of the stadium might have missed, but one that caught the attention of a steady fancam zooming in from the VIP barricade. Jungkook didn't hesitate. With deliberate, slow steps, he closed the distance between them, his boots echoing silently against the glossy stage floor. He didn't call out, nor did he try to make a grand show of it. It was an instinct honed by years of shared hardships, late-night practices, and an unspoken understanding that words were often entirely unnecessary. When Jungkook reached Jimin, he didn't just offer a casual pat on the back or a playful nudge. Instead, he wrapped his arms completely around Jimin from behind, pulling him into a deep, enveloping embrace that instantly anchored them both amidst the chaotic stadium noise. Jimin gasped slightly at the sudden warmth, his frame stiffening for a mere microsecond before completely melting into the hold. He leaned back against Jungkook's chest, letting his head drop slightly as if finally finding a safe harbor after a long, exhausting voyage. Jungkook buried his face into the crook of Jimin's neck, his grip tightening just enough to convey everything he couldn't say through a microphone: the gratitude, the shared exhaustion, and the fierce loyalty of a brotherhood forged in fire. The fancam captured the exact moment the stadium screens caught wind of the embrace, triggering a massive, collective gasp that rippled through the audience before dissolving into a deafening wave of cheers and emotional cries. But on the stage, inside that tight circle of two, the noise of Madrid seemed to fade into a dull hum. Jimin reached up, his small hands wrapping around Jungkook's forearms, holding onto the younger man as if he were the only stable thing left in a world that was spinning entirely too fast. For a long, uninterrupted minute, neither of them moved. The camera trembled slightly, reflecting the emotions of the fan holding it, capturing the raw, unedited vulnerability of two global icons stripping away the idol persona to simply be there for one another. As the final notes of the song began to swell, signaling the true end of the concert, Jungkook slowly released his grip, but not before giving Jimin a reassuring squeeze and a gentle pat on the shoulder. Jimin turned around, his eyes red-rimmed but shining with a renewed brilliance, a bright, genuine smile breaking across his face as he looked up at Jungkook. They shared a private, knowing look, a silent pact that whatever the future held beyond this final Madrid stage, they would face it exactly like this, side by side. They turned back to the crowd hand in hand, bowing deeply to the sea of purple lights, leaving behind an unforgettable memory captured forever in the digital amber of a fan's lens.